Mr. President, Syria's transition has been rocked this past month by violence and escalation that led to mass casualties, drained trust, and created more dangers of fragmentation. It is clear that some major course corrections on security and the political transition are needed. Mr. President, Syrians are reeling after appalling violence in Syria, violence that should not have happened, and which also saw unacceptable foreign intervention.
Recent weeks have indeed provided a stark reminder that Syria is not just one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, but also subject to violence and climatic shocks that compound the country's needs. The recent violence in Asaweda, as Special Envoy Pedersen has just outlined, has displaced an estimated 175,000 people, both within the area and to surrounding governorates. That represents a third of the population in a governorate where 2/3 of people are already in need of humanitarian assistance. Women, children, and medical personnel are also among the hundreds of people who have been reported killed. The World Health Organization has confirmed reports of killing of 2 doctors, the obstruction and targeting of ambulances and hospitals being temporarily occupied. Again, as the Special Envoy has said, there have been reports of horrendous physical assaults, abductions, forced evictions, psychological abuse, and the looting and destruction of homes.
I condemn the appalling violations against civilians and combatants in Syria. I also condemn Israelis' intervention and dangerous airstrikes in Syria and in Damascus. I'm seriously concerned by credible reports received by UN Human Rights Office and also my office, indicating widespread violations and abuses, including summary executions and arbitrary killings, kidnappings, destructions of private property, and looting of homes. Among the reported perpetrators were members of security forces and individuals affiliated with the authorities, as well as other armed elements from the area, including Druze and Bedouins. The Ministry of Defense stated that violations in Sweden were committed by an unknown group wearing military uniforms, stating that no perpetrators will be tolerated, even if affiliated with the ministry. The Syrian presidency issued a statement condemning violations and pledging accountability. I welcome this and will watch closely how it is implemented. Let me also stress my concern at reports of abductions of Druze women after the entry of the security forces into particular areas, and at reports of women, children, and men who are missing. The parallels with similar incidents involving Alawite women earlier this year, and which are reportedly ongoing, are alarming. There are growing concerns of emerging patterns in the treatment of women, including by combatants.
Special Envoy Geir Pedersen and Director Idem Osornu for your briefings. On June 30th, President Trump signed an executive order that terminated the U.S. Syria sanctions program, while allowing us to maintain sanctions where appropriate, including against Bashar al-Assad, his associates, ISIS and other terrorist organizations, as well as other destabilizing regional actors. Consistent with the President's executive order, the Department of State revoked the foreign terrorist organization designation of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, effective July 8th. This action followed the announced dissolution of HTS and the Syrian government's commitment to combat terrorism in all its forms, and it is an important step in fulfilling President Trump's vision of a stable, unified, and peaceful Syria. The President made clear that we are easing sanctions in order to give Syrians the chance they deserve at greatness. Success is not guaranteed. That is why we are working with Council members to review the Syria-related designations on the UN Security Council Resolution 1267 sanctions list. In doing so, we believe the Security Council should focus on two objectives. First, the Council should ensure UN sanctions do not inhibit Syrian or international efforts to rebuild and stabilize the country. Those who seek to provide legitimate investment or assistance, including UN agencies, should not be cowed by fear of UN sanctions. Second, the Council should ensure the 1267 sanctions regime fulfills its intended purpose, countering al-Qaeda and ISIL. The Syrian government has made a clear commitment to combat al-Qaeda and ISIL, and both groups are equally clear that they oppose the new government and are threatening to destroy it. Council members should not take those threats lightly. The Council can and must adjust its sanctions so the Syrian government can prevail in the fight against terrorism while keeping the most dangerous and unrepentant actors designated.